Hello, my friends in California. I'm Lorette Luzajic, and I'm so happy to be able to join you tonight. My poem is called Love, God, Murder. Rusty and mean, like running headlong into barbed wire, August comes around again. The man comes around. Sony had the idea for 3 different theme albums. Johnny Cash sings love songs, Johnny Cash sings gospel, and Johnny Cash sings prison songs. I thought that was pretty cluttered, so I told them, how about calling the albums Love, God, Murder? Cut right to the chase. Johnny Cash in an interview with Rolling Stone magazine. When my father went into the hospice, he left everything behind. He was finished, and he knew it. He had long finished packing. He took only his black leather Bible and a stack of cash on CD. It has been 1 year since I have seen my father. I still don't know how I get up each day, but I have now, hundreds of times. What does prayer sound like? What does it look like? It sounds like silence. It sounds like a scream. It looks like a half-empty mass shared with a few nuns at a desert church in Mexico. It is a flock of birds. It feels like Sunday morning coming down. He's not gone, says some well-meaning flake on the bus. He's still with us, love and light and all those empty platitudes. I see my fist smashing into his face. See him splattering like Jackson Pollock across the pleather upholstery. It's getting to my stop that saves him. I walk away thinking, if he's still here, then why is he not here? The secret things belong to God, but all that is revealed to us is ours, from Deuteronomy. One Christmas, I gave Dad a 19-hour recording of Johnny Cash reading the New Testament. He listened to it in its entirety. He followed along. When I was young, 4 skinheads raped and murdered my friend when she went to Toronto for a protest against sexism. I didn't know until my gas station manager slapped the Toronto Sun down on the desk with his double-double, and her smiling face lit up the headlines on the front page. She was 17 years old. Later they found Brian too, in the red company van. Picture of his family on his lap, his tie strung tight from the rearview mirror. I hung my head. I stopped believing for a long time. Dad sometimes sent me a Cash album for Christmas, or Christmas in July. He gave me his hymns and the gospel duets. I gave him the 9 Inch Nails and Leonard Cohen covers. Once when I was feeling ornery or lost, I sent Dad a sketch I'd done in the dark of Johnny with graffiti scrawls of those 3 words. God, love, murder, he wrote back. These things most often go together. The whole family stayed on one floor of the Sarnia Motel after Daddy's funeral, and it was kind of like his wedding, except the grandkids were high on wine instead of cookies and Pez. When do you come to terms with love, God, murder? Face to face with any of the above, I ran screaming. I'm still running. Is the pen mightier than the sword? Who said it? A knife slices both bread and throats. Dad said he was going to write my biography one day after he retired. It would start with Elaine, who never consented to burning out instead of fading away. It would include Crad, the writer, whom I accompanied through that shadow valley. It would talk about losing Dimitri, and JP, and Marco, and Bobby, and Zoe, and Andy. Dad knew the title before he started. My daughter, A Life of Death. You're not doing that, Dad, I told him, but the stories keep bleeding through the cracks with the daisies. Thank you so much. It's my absolute privilege to introduce to you one of my favorite poets, Alexis Rohn Fanche, who will read next. Alexis is the poetry editor at Cultural Weekly and the author of some of my favorite books. without further ado, Alexis?